Welcome, everybody, to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Steve Chiama. I'm the franchise owner of Action Coach in Fairfax, Virginia, and I'm your host today of the Business Spotlight podcast. And today I have the pleasure to introduce Peter Oykhman, the CEO and founder of PsyTech VR, as my guest. Today we're going to talk about Peter's business, his journey into business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what it's really like to build and operate a business. So if this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when new conversations like this drop. Peter, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. If you would, please share a little bit about your background, who you are, and a little bit about your business.
Happy to. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, as you said, my name is Peter Oykhman, and I'm a CEO and co-founder of PsyTech VR, but I also have another business called Partners. So I started PsyTech VR about 4 years ago with my co-founder, and the previous business I started in 2003, and completely different experience, honestly speaking. This PsyTech VR business is 100% different from pretty much anything what I've done before. It's a technology, but it's a startup. It's kind of brings together the things I do know about the technology. I've been dealing with, for example, with virtual reality and building applications for various platforms before, but never done anything with psychology. It's kind of a ignorance is a bliss. I before I started PsyTech VR, I talked to the psychologist, once in my life during my divorce, and it was a horrible experience. Basically, psychologist told me that it's all your fault. You're an idiot, and I was like, well, I guess we're done. So, uh, anyway, um, but with PsyTech VR in the last 4 years, I probably talked to at least uh, 400, maybe even more psychologists and psychiatrists. Very completely different, impression. Very very interesting conversations. Um, and Running a startup after got 20 years, started previous business is very interesting, and I wouldn't recommend it. That if I knew a little bit more, or I would be a little bit smarter, I probably wouldn't do that.
I want to start with a context question for the audience, but I want to come back to that because there's a bit of wisdom there that I think is worth exploring. Let's just start with a little bit of context about how your business is structured, and from the sense of solo owner, are you the only owner, partners,
No, no,
outside
no.
investors?
It's right. It's my partner and I. It's two of us. We're actually looking for investors right now. Strangely enough, we actually we broke even last year, which was good. And
Yeah.
This year we actually were profitable. We
Hmm.
were actually making money, and very happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we need to grow faster. We need to hire more salespeople. That's why we're looking for outside investments. It's probably like one and only because in probably in about 6 7 months, you know, we wouldn't be even talking about investments. But at the moment, we have more leads that we could handle, and we need to hire, salespeople. And if we'll spend a little bit more money, on the marketing, we probably will have to hire a lot of salespeople.
Yeah,
So
right.
so it's that's why we're looking for investment.
Yeah, salespeople, and then you've got to be able to deliver. So is the delivering a manufacturing process? Is the delivering a uh, programming coding process? What's that look like?
No, I mean we already have an application. We're constantly doing something, especially in today's world with the technology. You have to I mean everything related to AI. For example, right now we have 4 AIs integrated in
Ah,
our
okay.
platform, and so what we do is maybe we should start to talk about a little bit what we do. So PsyTech VR is a mental health and wellness application in virtual reality.
Hmm.
So what we do is we provide a tool to the doctors, for psychologists, clinicians, psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers,
Hmm.
counselors, to use with their patients for various forms of anxiety. So it could be, fear, phobia. It could be, general anxiety. It could be PTSD. It also we also kind of branched out a little bit to OCD and a couple other things.
Hmm.
But it's at the core of that is essentially exposure therapy. So we're showing people their trigger stimuli, and we also have a mental wellness part
Hmm.
where you could do a breathing, you could do like a guided meditation, you could do all kinds of
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Yeah.
But you also could create your own safe space and using AI, and it's a 360 image. You could add actually sounds, AI generated sounds there, and really kind of like immerse into that. We also have a similar thing in exposure therapy where you could recreate your traumatic experience and do like gradual exposure there again, picture sounds.
Hmm.
In our next version, you will be able to move around your little AI world, and you will be able to create a little, like kind of AI world
Hmm.
for exposure therapy and mental wellness. So, technology is moving really, really fast. And,
Yeah.
what you see is, like with the Genie or, Chat GPT and, other things, it's actually, we have to be able to move really fast. And I love it because, at my other company, logistics, things rarely change. Yes,
Right.
we implemented AI there, but it's not as, and we are working with robotic parts, but again it's kind of a little bit boring. So all these AIs and a visual component and audio component is very, very exciting. So we're constantly doing a development, but it's just like adding additional features. So we got a core product, we're just adding additional stuff to that normal
Hmm.
development, where and we got a customer base, and we got a very, very good uh, group board of advisors who actually helped us
Good.
to create our product, because neither one of us have a psychology background,
Right.
but it also allows us to look at this psychology from kind of a little bit from outside,
Right.
and we could see what we actually can do, because I met a lot of psychologists, psychiatrists who are actually trying to do something in a virtual reality, and that's a different approach. That's a
Hmm.
completely different approach, because they're kind of doing it from the inside of the industry, where we're doing it from the outside of the industry.
Hmm.
And this industry, psychology, psychiatry, has been very, you know, conservative for a really, really long time.
Hmm.
And, they not very much in the technology,
Hmm.
if any. So to give you an example how much they're not in the technology, so I subscribe for a magazine like quarterly American Psychology, APA, American Psychology
Right.
Association. So their last issue was talking about board games. So yeah. So I mean, and I'm not joking. It's literally they and again, there is nothing wrong with the board games, but you had like a previous like 50 years to talk about the board games.
Right.
So they talked about a little bit about uh, uh, AI, but again, it looks like they have no idea what to do with AI. I mean,
Right.
and frankly speaking, we also sometimes we're just scratching our heads where we have no idea what to do with AI. But
Right.
at least we have a better, more clear idea how to practically use AIs. Like we have a conversational AI. We have these, AIs that create these images and
Hmm.
sounds and videos and such. But that was is AI good or bad? And they're basically this author, he's kind of debating himself, if AI is good or bad. And like, yeah, from clearly, you're a little bit too much psychologist and not enough, IT guy.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
essentially talking to yourself, trying to understand if technology is good or bad. It's like it's neither good or bad.
Yeah.
You know,
It's the person behind it.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So what you do with the technology, what matters. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that gives us a little bit, better outside view on a subject. But yeah, they're very conservative. They're very um,
Naive.
I would expect them to at least acknowledge the possibilities,
Mm.
and they're not there yet. Hopefully
Okay.
they will.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Okay.
they will. Yeah, but um, we essentially we have enough people from the industry, psychologists, psychiatrists, for actually contacting us, and they want to try this because of the whole industry is so stagnant, so slow moving. So it's like,
Hmm.
let's give us something to try, because we need something, and all these organizations, they're not really helping.
Now, what are you doing? Obviously providing a tool, uh,
Yeah.
and I presume it's in software form, um,
Yes. So it's
with a
it's an
menu.
application, right? It's application on a computer. It could be
Hmm.
Mac or Windows, and
Hmm.
it's the same. It's built on the same Unreal Engine platform. And we also work with VR headset. We work with Meta, Pico, HTC. So it's a cross-platform kind of thing. We don't do Apple. They're a weird birds.
Oh, okay.
First of
Yeah.
all, psychologists and psychiatrists really cannot spend $3,500 on a headset. They're much tighter budget,
Mm.
um, and it's kind of not really a first priority for us. I mean, we could. I mean, the only people who were asking us about it, they were couple hospitals from the Middle East, but even they're like, yeah, kind of interesting, but like to pay 10 times more than for a regular headset.
Right.
You still have to explain to us why,
Yeah.
and I
Right.
cannot explain to them why.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. I think I would approach it from the same way. Cool. Cool. Um, how are you seeing it received in the market? Is it kind of a heavy missionary process, or is it a case where when somebody becomes aware of it, now they're interested?
uh, it's actually a great question, and it's a little bit push and pull, if I
Hmm.
may say. So and push and pull for a couple different reasons. So usually, I mean, let me tell you a little bit of a kind of a funny story. So right now we don't do any outbound marketing, right? All our marketing is inbound. And so we're actually afraid to do any outbound marketing
Yeah.
because we already have enough. We don't have enough salespeople to handle what we got right now from a inbound marketing, and that's very encouraging. It's very very interesting. It's the first time in my life that we basically were spending about, if I will tell you, how much we're spending, you probably will be laughing. We spend about $50 a month on marketing. So we have a marketing guy, but on a paid marketing, we're spending $50 a month. We spent, I think, 5,000 last year, but mostly because we went to a couple shows.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Right. This year we're spending $50 a month for marketing, and we were getting a lot of leads. And um, it's people are actually getting very very curious. So it's very uh, educational process, because every conversation is like, okay, show us what you got, because we have no idea what you're talking about. Like what is a possibility there. But when people see this, they immediately like, well, we want to try this because that sounds really cool. It looks really cool. We want to try it.
Mhm.
Couple issues with that. It was like there is a little kind of a buy-in kind of a barrier, because the headset cost about $300, not like $5,000 like it was like 5 years ago or 7 years
Right.
ago. But it's still MetaQuest 3S costs $300. And that's kind of, yeah, you have to go to Amazon or Best Buy, get your headset, and you got the 30 days free trial. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, basically return the headset and you're done. There is no
Right.
yeah, no harm, no foul. But uh people are usually, rarely people are returning the headset. Usually if they will
Interesting.
buy a headset, they actually will get it. um but it's a certain educational process. The other part of the educational process, which again, my big kind of a disappointment with associations, they do not teach people. Like, same thing goes to colleges and universities. We do work with the colleges and universities, and we actually, now they're getting interested, but it's like slow moving process. And that's
Hmm.
the colleges and universities who are preparing these future psychologists, psychiatrists,
Hmm.
clinicians. So they're not really teaching them that that's an option. When we started 4 years ago, we probably worked with like one or two colleges. Now it's a much, much broader kind of a group. But somebody has to teach them that it's an option. And again, we're
Yeah.
talking about psychologists and psychiatrists. They're colleges, universities, like ingraining this, that like, if somebody has to teach you how to do this, how somebody has to give you a certificate, right? Somebody
Uh,
has to, you have to take some courses to how to do this, and
yeah.
that's ingrained in their like psychology, psychiatry, like everything what they do has to be trained and certified and everything. So we actually create, with one of our partners, we created this training program,
Good.
which is actually CE certified. But again, it took us a couple years to realize that this is what we have to do. And
Hmm.
it's not that we're teaching them psychology. It's not that we're teaching them a VR. We're teaching them what's the best way to use this application in their practice, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Hmm.
it's like a best practices, like how to incorporate this tool, because everything what we do, we provide a tool, not for everyone. So it will work for some people, don't work for some people,
Hmm.
but we're providing them additional tools that they didn't have before.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we're teaching them what would be the best practices, how to use this tool.
Right. Right. Complete with
So
a certificate.
With a certificate, absolutely. We're
Yeah,
giving, like a 3C credits and certificate on the wall and the whole nine
good.
yards, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I'm super disappointed. It was one lady who actually was our advisor, Elizabeth McMahon, and she had a course teaching about virtual reality and exposure
Hmm.
therapy. Unfortunately, she passed away last year.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh yeah, no, she was very very nice, and she she realized, probably even before anybody else, that you have to teach this, because it there is a certain gap in kind of a people would be much more open to the idea if somebody will teach them, what it is, why do they need it, why do they want it, what should be a good use cases for that, who would be a good candidate for that. And she did it for probably 2 3 years, and
Hmm.
passed away. And now we created a training course because, I mean, not because we wanted to. I will be much happier to do, the software development, but our customers
Hmm.
keep asking us, like, where, would we learn about it. We're actually referring them to Elizabeth's book, but we figured that this training course could be a really nice addition, and we're actually working with another
Yep.
advisor who is doing this another training course. And we actually, now we got more and more people who are actually offering us to create this the training courses for different kind of groups of people, different clinicians. But I think it's talking about how people react to that. Uh, People are usually very uh, enthusiastic about it,
Hmm.
because it's something that technology that they didn't have before.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you probably remember, like, about 3 4 years ago, when AI, ChatGPT and OpenAI start kind of like getting more,
Yeah, it got became visible.
mainstream. Yeah,
Yeah.
mainstream, right? People got scared. Oh, like, oh, AI is going to replace everything, and it's like, not really. Not that's not really the case. Uh, but it's really kind of when people start realizing that somebody has to teach them. I mean, it's like, yeah, AI is great, but somebody really have to explain to them where to use it, how to use it,
Hmm.
what's the best practices, prompting and such. So that's a gap we have to kind of get over
Cool.
with. And that's actually for with the people, IT, working in IT, and you still have to kind of bridge this gap,
Yeah.
explaining to people, how to use it and what to use it. Where we got a, somewhere similar situation with our applications, that we're trying to bridge the gap with training and education. But
Awesome.
overall, I think people are very excited, and very happy with the results, because
Hmm.
actually you could really make people feel better, make them uh, go through the process much faster and much more efficient.
Super, super, super. I want to kind of change directions a little bit. Going back to something you talked about, you got a couple of businesses going. Um, you've kind of you've gone into this differently than most people do. Most people go in with a skill and build a business around some skill that they've got or some specific knowledge that they've got. you're starting to treat business as the skill. You're starting to treat it like a profession all by itself. What kind of inspired that? What got you there?
Uh, my kind of is like answer to that, if I would know in advance what's involved, I probably wouldn't do that. But and that's yeah, I'm being completely serious because I
Hmm.
started this in 21, and because I got bored at some point with this whole logistics, because I learned about logistics, everything that there is to learn, and
Hmm.
got bored, and I wanted to do something more with the technology, and start doing it. And whatever it is, 4 years later, I think we're in a good place right now. But 4 years, it's been very painful. And at the same time, I have to tell you that I learned so much, in the last 4 years. Uh, some of that was like a forced learning, you have to learn.
Hmm.
But some of the stuff I really enjoyed, and
Hmm.
it was a super different experience. And from what I remember when I
Hmm.
was starting the previous business, um, like building application is building application, but go to market strategy, understanding importance of, because you're dealing with non-professionals, like times two, because you're dealing with psychologists, psychiatrists who really, by nature afraid of the technology. And in most cases, there are a
Hmm.
small group who actually love the technology, but it's actually kind of more an exception than a rule.
Hmm.
And uh, so we had to consider, like, UIs,
Hmm.
and we went through few iterations with AIs. We
Hmm.
went through a few iterations with application for computers, for desktops, and with the technology, because 4 years ago, there are two major platforms. There is actually a Unity and Unreal Engine, right? And we started with Unity, but then switched to Unreal Engine. And now, honestly, it doesn't really matter anymore. But Unity implemented these strange policies about licensing, and nobody really knew what to expect. They were a little bit behind at the time with assets and availability, because during COVID, people started creating these assets and they cost like $100, and very easy to use, very easy to build on. Because the first scenario we built from scratch, and
Hmm.
it took us about 6 months to build. Now we could build a scenario in about like 3-4 weeks,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
wouldn't even bother. It's like it's nothing. Um, uh, we're much more concerned about we're much more concerned about AI right now than if somebody would ask us tomorrow to build a scenario, it's like less complicated scenario, probably a couple of weeks. More
Yeah.
complicated scenario, probably like 3 weeks. But
Hmm.
but it's kind of not a big deal.
Hmm.
4 years ago, it was a big deal.
Hmm.
So it's a different challenge. But then you are talking about going to go to market strategy, and for you to kind of like, for your understanding, when I started with this logistics business, right? There are about 1,000 companies who are doing somewhere working this space. Maybe not 1,000, but like 200-300,
A manageable
easy.
number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 200-300, always,
Hmm.
like, yeah, you got the top 10, you got the top 50, but it's easy, like 200-300 companies who are doing the same thing across the world. What we do, there is they are five or six companies. That's it. That's a market.
That's interesting.
There are like five, six companies who are doing something similar. And one of them is in New Zealand, the other one is in France. And it's like four of us, three or
Hmm.
four of us in the States. And so it's I mean it's like going from 500 to five.
Hmm.
uh, it's like if you're trying to get on the first page of Google with the logistics, like forget about it. It's ridiculously expensive, right? Nobody is using Google anymore, but it's a ChatGPT or
Hmm.
Copilot, but um uh yeah, try to get like on the first page. It's impossible. You have to hire a group of people who will be working on this. With this application, we were on the first page of Google, from a day one, pretty
Yeah,
much,
right.
right? So because it's only five or six of us, I mean, it's like, yeah, well, guess what? If you're not a complete idiot, you could get on the first page
All
of
five or
Google,
six are there.
right? So that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
awesome.
so it's a different experience. It's like when we're talking about go to market. uh, Last year, we wouldn't even talk about outbound, like
Hmm.
anything outbound. We're like, no, we're just trying to handle whatever we have inbound. That's our goal.
Hmm.
So right now we got a pipeline of about over 100. It was actually 150. Now it went down to about 100 people who is actually on our list, who actually we have to call, who contacted us, and we owe them and call back or email back. And that's pretty much average this year, that we got like over 100 leads we have to follow up on. And that kind of every time it just blows my mind. So
Hmm.
it's ridiculous. It's kind of like
Hmm.
uh, and especially when you're trying to switch from one business to another. In one
Hmm.
business where you're trying to get the leads, and the other one you're afraid to get more leads. You're
Hmm.
afraid to move because you'll get more leads.
Hmm.
So that sort of a situation. And yeah, it's again, at my age, it's super entertaining. Doing business for God knows, like 30 years, and it's the first time in my life, and I'm in a situation where I'm afraid to do any more marketing. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
$50,
it's a
and
different problem.
I'm afraid to spend $100, because I know that this queue will be like 200 people, and I don't know what to do with them.
Hmm. Hmm. Good.
So that's kind of a strange position. And again, I'm not complaining. It just you're learning so many new things, and you're trying to figure out what to do. And for example, when with the logistics, you're always trying to get on this government sites and government listed. We actually got a company which actually I love. I never worked with them before, but I love the company, Lavelle. They contacted us, and they're like, "Do you want to work with us?" Like, maybe. And they're like, yeah, we'll get you on all the contracts, all the schedules. Just give us your information. Again, it's only five companies in the world, or six
Mm.
companies in the world. So it's a little bit crazy and interesting. And
Exciting.
uh, no, for sure,
Yeah,
it's just started to make money, but it's still super exciting.
yeah.
So I'm uh, kind of sort of um, you're waking up in the morning, and you're like, I got a split personality between the logistics and this. talking about, psychology, I probably should talk to the psychologist at some point. So, but
How how
yeah.
do you split your time between them?
Um, it depends on the day. So
Hmm.
sometimes I would, spend more time on the logistics side, especially when we're working on some government contracts and such.
Hmm.
And sometimes I spend more time, for example, in a SciTech, we still have a small group and we just had a, order of 50 headsets and 50 licenses from, state of Hawaii. And our office was just packed because it's a headset, it's a straps with a battery, it's actually were cases. So we ordered everything. We had all these boxes, and then we're just putting everything together and installing our application. So we were swamped for about a week, just doing that kind of stuff. Again, depends on the week, depends on the
Hmm.
day. But actually, one of our partners, they're actually, they also were bidding on a contract with about 50 headsets, 50 licenses. So it's actually getting very, very interesting very fast.
Hmm.
So again, depends on the day. Just it's
Hmm.
like I could show you my calendar. So some days I'm just it's like it's all about logistics. Some days it's just all about this psychology and psytech VR. So kind of
What's been,
interesting.
it is interesting. It sounds interesting. What's been the most memorable hurdle you've had going through this journey?
Um, it's kind of a uh, how to explain. Um, I would again, I would say the same thing. If I would know that that's a journey I'm starting 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Then sort of about a couple years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine and I told him like, this is probably my retirement project, right? Um, Now I'm just like, yeah, I don't see retirement anytime soon because this is not a retirement. This is like a full-time job.
Uh-huh.
Like
This is
I
blown
wouldn't
out of
say 20,
proportion.
yeah, 24/7, but yeah, that's not doesn't look like retirement, doesn't smell like retirement. So so yeah, it's that kind of situation. But a bigger picture is I I was honestly surprised by psychology in a good way and in a bad way. So, for example, we got a board of advisors, and we just inviting people to join our board of advisors.
Hmm.
We're not paying our advisors, and they're, happy to work with us. Again, it's like it's a fairly small group of, people and fairly small space. Uh, and when we start inviting people to be our advisors, and nobody even asked about, if we're getting paid, and just like never was a question. So, which was super. I was surprised, and it was, pleasure, and to know these people, kind of on a personal level. That's very, very interesting group of people, and I'm
Hmm.
very, very happy that I know these people now.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the other part, uh, for example, right now we work with one of the leading kind of a scientists in the space, and Stanford University, for
Hmm.
example, we part of this group in Stanford, and Stanford,
Hmm.
they had this group related to virtual reality for a long time. I can absolutely assure you that when we started, they were like, we don't know you, we don't want to deal with you. But in about like year and a half, nicest people, very pleasant people to deal
Hmm.
with. And, you would expect more kind of ego from people, from Stanford, and we're also working with the other, pretty big names in the field.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, they're actually very, very nice, very, easygoing. And, granted that they're all, either MD or PhD,
Uh-huh. Right.
so super nice people. And that's a, practicing doctors. It's practicing, like PhD, they're, teaching, and super nice, group of people. And I think that was, I mean, from my experience, it's like you're talking to a larger organizations. They rarely acknowledge you. They rarely, would deal with you. These people, absolutely happy to talk to you, happy to work with you, happy to help.
Awesome.
Again, my kind of a big uh, surprise that I I was thinking that it would be much harder, and it's essentially the group of people. Absolutely, I love this group of people. Actually, I was a track chair at one of the large events, AWE, this year in California. And I looked at this, healthcare track, and it's like, I probably know about, 80% of people. And, it's like, I know, not by name, but, I met them before, I talked to them, I, worked with them before, and it's very, very, completely different experience. Again, remember, it took us 4 years.
Hmm.
So I think it's kind of a, pretty good kind of I wouldn't say record, but it's a pretty good time to actually to become a kind of a visible in this space,
Hmm.
visible for small organizations, large organizations. Um, so which is again completely different experience, completely, very interesting, very, very, you know, uh, not what I expected, in a good way. There are a lot of things I didn't expect in a bad way, but there are a lot of things also in a good way. I honestly, in a bad way, for example, I was hoping that we could break even faster than like 3 years, right? Yeah, well, that didn't happen. But at least in a kind of a year three, we broke even, and now we're profitable. So like, yeah, yeah. Well,
It's
I
going in the
cannot
right
complain
direction.
too. Yeah, I cannot complain too much about it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What's the future look like 5, 10 years out?
Um, this is one of the questions I've been asked about this a couple times by actually our investors, and
Hmm.
my answer was like, you're probably out of your mind if you're asking me this question. No offense, but it's not that I don't know where we want to be as a company.
Hmm.
Basically, we are already probably like in the top, you know, two, maybe three kind of a position in a space. But what I would say is that technology is moving so fast. I don't
Hmm.
know where it's going to be. I mean, even a year from now, I'm a little bit hesitant to tell you where we're going to be, in terms of technology, even a year from now. So when we started, we started, at the end of 21, early 22. We didn't even think about, AI, right? We basically, by the end of 22, early 23, we started doing something with the AI, right? Now it's AI is at least at 50% of what we do,
Hmm.
maybe even more, because it opens up. a completely different, opportunities and universe, and
Hmm.
not only for us, but psychologists. Like, to give you an example, like you have a car accident, right, and you have a some sort of PTSD, some sort of a trauma from this car accident. The old way is you're going to the psychologist and they're telling you, like, imagine, what happened, every right? Now, we could actually, using AI, we could create a picture, 360 picture image, pretty much precise. So, like, is it a city? Is it a highway? What cars were involved in the accident? So if you will describe it, AI will create it, right?
Hmm.
We could add the sounds. We could add other components, like triggers and stimuli to this picture,
Yeah.
right? Like, sirens and, screaming people or not screaming people. By the way, screaming children always increase your, stress level,
Yeah, I'm
immediately. It
sure.
doesn't really matter
Hmm.
what, we're just pre-built this way. Uh, in our next version, you will have an ability not only to have this as a 360 picture, but move around. So
Hmm.
we will actually create a little kind of a world for you that you could move around, and that's already what we see, and that's what we're kind of working on. So after that, I don't even know what else is going to be out there, because again, people are confusing possibility with application. So
Mm.
possibilities are endless. Application, that's a little bit
Takes a little
more,
bit more.
yeah. So to figure out how to use it, it takes a little bit more. So again, but for all practical purposes, this industry that allows you to um, sort of a reimagine the traditional approach to the kind of a fear, phobia, anxiety, PTSD, OCD, even autism. We're also talking about autism and a
Mm.
gradual exposure for autism and that sort of thing. So that's where practical applications, like if you could show this, in again, uh, in one of our versions, you could actually download a picture or upload picture, and we will build you a scenario based on, if you have a picture, we could actually, create these images from a picture. So that gives a completely different
Yeah.
possibilities, a completely different options for again for clinicians. No, I mean we're just building a tool for clinicians, but that
Right.
that provides them it's a much more you know custom. So basically, every experience is a custom experience, and that's what essentially the whole idea is. Because yes, like you're talking about PTSD, and like where was that? Is like, for example, if you're talking about vets, like Afghanistan, Iraq, mountains,
Vietnam.
deserts,
Yeah.
Vietnam, yeah, exactly. So
Hmm.
you could create this experience, like, which was never really an option before,
Right.
and actually not like we will create it, we'll give them a tool and they will create it with their patients, right? And then they will create a safe space that they will transition to, and breathe and relax and essentially go back to normal, and that's breaking this cycle. So, and because they will know that there is always a place, that they could put their headsets on, doesn't really matter where they are, and they could go, to meditate or go to the safe space and such. And the other part of that, which I have no idea. I mean, I have some ideas, but the headsets are getting smaller. So now, as a headset, we started with the big bulky headsets. Now
Right.
it's much smaller and much more compact. Now it's getting, size of the, sunglasses. It's, something that, a form factor, which, even more interesting and, it's just easier because, uh, if you're doing a therapy and you're in these headsets for about like 30 minutes. Again, right now headsets are not that heavy, but still kind of you have this headset and on your face. If you could just replace it with something like a sunglasses, just put it on your patient and do that, that would be great. So and technology is evolving like really fast.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. If you were starting your business over again today,
I wouldn't.
that was kind of the question. What would you do differently, or would you do it at all?
uh, no, I mean the joke is like it's super interesting, super but I honestly would say
You
that
sound really
you
passionate about it.
right, but you probably should be a little bit younger for that.
Well, okay. Yeah,
I
that's a
mean, I'm just
question.
being
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah, yeah,
being
yeah,
honest. No, I
yeah.
work with the young people. My partner, he's 27 years old, just got married. And most of the people I'm working with, they're in their mid 30s,
Hmm.
late 20s. So it's
Hmm.
it's it's very interesting.
Hmm.
But uh, I feel like sometimes, and my part is I know the business. I know, like I can do a lot of things much faster than they do. I can, just because of my experience, practical experience with IT. I've been doing it for God knows like 50 years. So maybe less than 50 years, but about 45. So, uh, but I can honestly tell you that uh, sometimes I cannot work 24/7 anymore,
Hmm.
and sometimes it feels like you really should and you really have to.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's why I'm saying that it's a little bit different experience. I uh, uh, it's a super interesting experience,
Hmm.
super engaging.
Hmm.
I learned so much. Just it's like uh, business wise,
Hmm.
and not only about psychology, but I didn't know that it's even possible to do things uh, like to be on the first page of Google from a day one. That was a kind of an eye-opening
Yeah.
experience. So
I
so
bet.
now we're all over AI, ChatGPT, and people are calling us and asking us, "Are you as good as ChatGPT is telling us?"
That's an experience too.
Yeah. So yeah. Trying to get to Wikipedia, it's kind of hilarious because Wikipedia is still complete, pardon my French, pain in the ass. And again, it's not that they have a lot of information on the subject, but like, oh, it's a company, you probably will be advertising. Well, yeah, because what we're doing, it's actually a forefront of the industry,
Yeah.
where we basically what we do is like in terms of AIs and in terms of other things uh, at the moment nobody else does, right?
Hmm.
But no, you're still kind of no, like Wikipedia is like, man, you're advertising. It's like, no, I'm just telling people that it's possible,
Educating.
and
Yeah.
they don't know about it.
Yeah.
So again, it's very very. very entertaining. But again, our focus mostly on AIs, ChatGPT, Copilot, Grok, and Perplexity and such. And that's again, marketing is different. It's evolved in the last like couple years so much, which again, I, I probably would learn about it at some point, but that was just a crash course of like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
of marketing.
yeah. Well, a crash course is a good way to put it.
Yeah,
Awesome. So before let's start wrapping up here. Let me try a few rapid fire questions here for you. So
sure.
these are kind of off the cuff, knee jerk reactions. What would you say is the key to success for you?
Oof. Well, let's start with a simple thing. It probably at the end of the day, how how much money you're making
Hmm.
from a business. Because yes, at some point, you're investing money in a business. It's your
Hmm.
responsibility and such. But at the end of the day, you're looking at if this business is actually making money or losing money.
Hmm.
So that's I for me that's fairly simple.
Okay.
And but also at for example, with the logistics business is different, but
Hmm.
with the psychology with PsyTech VR is uh, you could see the people you're actually helping.
Hmm.
And that's also such an eye-opening experience because
Hmm.
I never played the doctor.
Hmm.
But it's kind of strange enough. You have a chance to kind of play the doctor somewhere. We have a
Hmm.
customer who with a fear of heights, and he was afraid to go like a three steps
Hmm.
in his house, like he has like from a you know garden to his house, like three steps. He had issues with the three steps. After about a week, again, it's not a rule, it's probably more like an exception. But after a week, he had no problem with the three steps. After 2 weeks, he actually went to the mall for the first time in his life, and used an escalator.
Oh,
And
yeah.
his wife was crying, and again, he was super motivated. He wanted to use it. He was using it in the right way with his clinician. And 2 weeks later, he went on the escalator, and then they called us, and they're like, this is amazing that we never thought it's possible. And the guy probably was in his early 60s.
Hmm.
He lived with that his whole life, and then he managed to do that. That is a very satisfying experience. And that's again uh not what I expected, more than I expected. And that's just a mind-boggling
It
in a
is
way.
mind-boggling, and it's also heart-boggling when you think about all the other potential
Mhm.
impacts that can
Exactly.
have.
Ex-
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So I
If
started with a simple one and went to a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, much more complicated. Awesome. If you were going to walk out of here into the coffee shop and meet somebody who is just at the beginning of starting up a business, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
Oh God. And I'm not joking. Just think long and hard, because
Mm.
it's not a 9 to 5 job.
Hmm.
It's your own business. It's pretty much 24/7.
Hmm.
I actually one of the reasons why I started SciTech VR because of my personal experience with anxiety. Because running your own personal business and anxiety, it's it's actually same thing, right?
Hmm.
And I uh, I would say that if I would knew how to to deal with anxiety better, I probably wouldn't get a divorce because
Mm-hmm.
you're always bringing a stress home as a,
Mm-hmm.
business owner. You're always bringing stress home. You're always stressed. You're either traveling too much, or you're
Mm-hmm.
stressed. And it's really hard to, especially when you're younger, to separate
Mm-hmm.
kind of a work and personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So again, seeing long and hard, and again, talk to us will help you with anxiety at least a little bit. Because I went and I was doing Tai Chi, I was doing meditation. But again, Tai Chi and meditation is like, it took me about, 4 or 5 years to do this, to get to the right kind of, because it's like, if you're under stress, and somebody will tell you, oh, go and meditate.
Yeah, right.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
right.
It's like, that's the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do. It's completely different mindset. And to
Yeah.
be able to stop and actually breathe and meditate, that's not a kind of thing you could learn really fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of thing. Again, it took me, 4 or 5 years to actually get there. But yeah, I would honestly say that kind of a waiting. I just don't know how to, what how to do something else. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like,
Mm-hmm.
for me, 9 to 5 is. I don't think it's an option, but I would say just think long and hard about the consequences.
Okay, good, 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 good. What's one book you've been reading recently or are reading now that has had impact on how you approach your business?
Um, I will tell you exactly the name of the book. Give me 1 second. It's eh, uh, God, nope, nope. Give me 1 second. I will tell you. Um, it's called well, actually, two books. Thomas Sowell, Knowledge and Decisions. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to kind of and I also I'm also reading the Attention Economy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Thomas Davenport.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's that's the two books. And if I would have to pick the third one, there is actually a book. It's called The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen.
Mm-hmm.
Super interesting book. Completely not what I would expect. And I've been introduced to a book, Pitch Anything, but Oren Claff. Again, frankly speaking, uh, if you have to read something, read this. And Thomas
Mm-hmm.
Sowell, he has multiple books, and I absolutely love, uh, his books and his style of
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's probably kind of a must.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. Good. 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 Good choices. Good. You've had a great journey, an interesting journey. What are you
Yeah,
most proud of?
and oh, um, my family, my children.
Good.
Again, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's business is kind of interesting, and it's very entertaining. But I'm very proud of what my children actually are doing, what they're
Mm-hmm.
what they're kind of where they are,
Mm-hmm.
and how they are,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that for me, business is a tool how to make their life a little bit
Good
better
way
and
to
and
put it. Yeah.
easier. So
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I would say that um, uh, I mean, again, this SciTech VR business, um, it gives you a little bit different overview. But
Mm-hmm.
if we could help people to get better and to deal better with their kind of anxiety and
Mm-hmm.
PTSD and that sort of things, um, that would be, very, it kind of, it puts me in a very good mood if actually we could succeed. Because I honestly, when we started the business, uh, it, and I hate to say that, I absolutely hate to say that, because the worst thing you can do, you have to mix, you will mix business and hobby, right? So that's two things they absolutely shouldn't mix. But when you see that what you're doing is actually helping people, almost putting you in a kind of a mental state of a hobby, and
Hmm.
again, now I have to fight with myself, and again, it's like we have to be profitable, we have to be,
Yeah.
and so it's almost kind of like put me in a
You're
state of a hobby where I just love to do this.
you're
But
having
as
fun.
a business, yeah, as a business, we also have to make money, and which is kind of, I wouldn't say it's unfortunate, but it's just a different, you know
Yeah.
uh,
Different context.
different context. Yes, exactly.
Cool. 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 Kind of following up on that. If there was one thing you could significantly improve in your business, you had a magic wand and you could make it just happen this afternoon, what would it be?
Uh, it's really hard question for me, because um, if I will tell you what I can, do, and I'm not doing it right now, there's like, this is something kind of wrong with me, because as I'm a CEO of the company. If I
Hmm.
see what I can do, and not doing it, I
Hmm.
probably should go, look in the mirror and but in terms of a magic wand, I would say that, um, it, I if I can only deal with people I like,
Hmm.
and I don't have to deal with people I don't like,
Hmm.
that would be a benefit. And I'm trying not to deal with people I don't like, but from time to time you have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So that would be more enjoyable journey.
Okay. Fair enough.
The fact that I have to deal with people, and you have to tell them, like, 3 4 times, and they still
Hmm.
kind of not doing it, or don't want to do this. It feels like a waste of time, waste of
Hmm.
my time, and waste of their time. If you don't want to
Hmm.
do this, just like go somewhere else.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Good. Good. All right. Most important question. How can people who want to get to know more contact you?
Oh, I would say that that's probably the easiest one. You can find me on the LinkedIn,
Hmm.
as a Peter Oykhman. You could find me, through our website, psytechvr.com. Again,
Uh-huh.
virtual reality exposure therapy. Again, first page of Google guaranteed. So, so, but with all seriousness, I guess LinkedIn is just an easiest. And again, if you're looking for how to find me, just put my name, and you probably will find me very easily on LinkedIn or Google or somewhere else. And actually, I've been introvert my whole life, and but I at some point about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I decided that I don't want to be that anymore. So,
It's a choice, isn't
right,
it?
it is a choice. It is a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. 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 Just time to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a little bit too late, but
Yeah, well, okay. There's always the next day.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Cool. Cool. this is the last question. What's most inspiring to you today?
Um, it's probably the same thing that, inspiring and scary.
Mm,
I went through a few, and it's basically up and down. This technology and society is going up and down. I think that technology right now at the state where it could get really, really interesting.
hmm
Some people are afraid, some people are, excited. I'm probably somewhere in between. But what's exciting me is that there is a potential. Will we use this potential or not? Who knows?
hmm
But the potential we have right now, uh, in terms of what we can do and how we can do. Like my youngest son, he's in doing organic chemistry, and he is
hmm
telling me what kind of stuff they could do with organic chemistry that was never enough, right? That's
hmm
like never enough using AI, using all kinds of stuff, was never an option. And will we use it? Will we use it for something good or bad? I guess we can pretty much destroy anything. And I'm going back to the same saying. In 2000, we have a 10 commandments. In 2000 years, we cannot retire a single one of them.
hmm
So it tells you something about humanity and,
hmm
church and, humans were, working really hard. It's like everybody knows it, everybody accepts it, but still 10 commandments, they're all, they're the same as 2000 years ago. So, like it gives me sometimes a little bit of a pause. So if, we could use technology to retire one of them, that would be a achievement. And I think we do have this opportunity, but will we use this opportunity, or we'll do
Human,
what humans usually do?
yeah, human nature hasn't
So
changed
yeah,
much, has it?
yeah, yeah. So again, who knows? Who knows?
hmm hmm
But it could be pretty exciting, and
hmm
I'm trying to be optimistic, kind of, sort of.
hmm
But
hmm
yeah, the opportunity is definitely there. It's the same opportunity like during .com. I don't know, do you remember .com?
I
It's
do.
basically it's the same kind of a mentality. I see that uh, you could go and create something out of nothing, right?
hmm
You could go, you have an idea. If that idea is good enough, you could create something, and like .com, like people would give you money, and people were not afraid to explore, were not afraid to give money to some ideas, and that sort of thing. And that kind of I feel like it's a similar excitement where people are really going and doing something, and not afraid
hmm
of do something. And I like it. I like
hmm
it. I'm cautiously optimistic.
mm Yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. This has been fantastic. This is a great story. You've got some really good insights here that are very helpful and
Thank
a
you.
fantastic product that sounds like it's got some amazing opportunities to help a lot of people real quick deal with issues that have been hard to deal with for a long time. So this is really great. Um,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing this stuff. And for the
Sure.
audience that's watching, um, save the show, come back and watch it again. Peter shared an awful lot of really interesting stuff here, not the least of which is trying to run two companies at the same time is a that's got to be an entertaining aspect of it altogether. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can get some notifications every time we do one of these. Thank you to everybody who joined us. And Peter, special thanks to you for sharing the story. This has been an amazing story.
Absolutely. Happy Happy to join you.